So thank you very much, and I think we can upload again those amazing women. Thank you very much. So first, before beginning this roundtable, I'd like to know if there's in the room some women who are either working or studying in the VFX industry or some connecting fields. Yes, good. So I apologize for the cliche of my first question, but we've seen that the rate is really low with women working in this field. So which advice would you give those women to go on this career? If each one of you had maybe one word or something.
Well, if you want to work in the industry, just apply and just work for it, because there's plenty of room for people. So I think it's not undoable. I think you just really need to try, at least if you really want it.
Yeah, I had some facts that I saw in another panel about women in visual effects, and I thought it was really interesting. And Google Analytics did a survey about job applications. So for the same job, and they required a set of skills. So apparently men would apply when they had 50% of these skills, and women would wait until they had 80%. So I think it's a matter of confidence and just going for it, really. So if they're going to do it, just go for it. You too. And that's something I do. I think in my work, I've always been brave, and I've always tried to do things that maybe I wasn't that ready for, but I did them anyway. And I think that's what guys do all the time, and they feel comfortable with it, just like coming here and talking. It's very difficult. None of us have done it before. But we're just going for it, so that's what I'd recommend.
Thank you.
Yeah, and don't think too much about not being a man and about that. That's not important. What is important is that you know what you want to do, that you know what you're good at, and then just go for it. And I mean, I know the problem that you said. Women have to be like 150% sure of something in order to do it, and that's true for me, but I don't know if it's gonna change. Maybe it's I don't know if it's in society or it's in education.
It's probably the way we're brought up. Yeah. Like, we have to be very confident in what we do. We have to be careful. We don't want to be exposed, and guys aren't like that. At least the education in Spain is like that. I mean, guys can go out. They won't have their parents say you have to be back by 10. Just they're free. They're much more free than I've felt, and I think that extends to how we work. So that's the difference. Women are more contained, so that's what we have to change.
I was working also as an HR manager at RISE for 6 years, and my experience was also, we were always doing internships with students, and it's like half a year you do a generalistic internship, so that, for example, in CG you get to know all areas and can decide after the internship what is that you are most interested in. And very often when you have an interview with a girl or woman, she's always very, I want to do modeling, I want to do animation, point. And when you say it's possible that you also have to try a little bit FX, they are totally scared. And if you have the same conversation with a man, they are like, yeah, okay, let's do it, let's try. And so it's what you already said. It's like women should be more confident that they can do visual effects and that it's not a manly domain, and that you just have to be open and try a little bit and also fail a little bit, but at the end you will figure it out. And we already talked a little bit about it. At the moment, we see that more women are getting involved into in FX, I mean, in destruction and everything. And that was like 3 years ago. We had like 3 men and no woman at all that was interested in FX, and now we're getting more and more applications and women. At the moment we had a team of FX artists and half of it had been women. So I think that's a good sign, but it has to change more and more.
And do you feel that somehow in your current work you've been brought back to gender stereotypes, like doing VFX or images that are cute, or that it's too violent, or like that women will do different kinds of VFX than men? Have you been brought back to this kind of cliches, or not so much?
You're the compositor. Well, no, I've got colleagues, my female colleagues, my colleague Son Soles. She likes gore. She'll go into the internet pages to get examples. She'll just add blood, and the more gore she can go, the better. So it's just, it depends on the person, really. But she's wild. So.
No, I didn't mean that you weren't wild, but I mean maybe your colleagues or people around you.
No, I mean, I'm talking about myself and my colleagues. I mean, I don't think it's a matter of being a woman or not. I mean, if you like geeky movies and you like to add blood in your shots, you'll have fun. So.
And also, as you're sometimes the only or one of the only women in your office, have you been faced to like fetishize? I can't say this word. That's being a kind of mascot. That wow, you are like a man, or being put somewhere in a different place than your male colleagues because you are outside of other women.
I've got to say, at the beginning, at my career, I always tried to be as cool as the guys, as geeky, as nerdy, and technology interested, and I kind of wanted to prove I'm as smart, and I also know how to program, and then over time I found out that's not really true for me. I'm interested in graphics and in character animation, and I don't felt the need to prove that I'm a man somehow, and I felt comfortable being me and not proving myself as being as the boys are.
I was in the office very often as only woman, so it was. But as a woman, when you have like 30 guys around you, you start to behave like a man also. It's like you don't care about dishes and everything. But on the other side, they miss it. I was doing HR, so they were like, Kerstin, please hire a woman. It makes the team much more interesting. It's much more better discussions. It's helping the project, and it's just. I'm not saying it's important. Gender is important, but somehow it is. You have to have diversity in your team. We talked also about diversity, about people from different countries earlier. So I think that's the same. It doesn't matter. You need diversity in your team. If it's gender-wise, country-wise, it doesn't matter. It's just you need diversity to do something creative, what we are doing, and that's the point.
To have different perspectives on a problem. So to find better solutions, you've got to have also female view on it, because it's got to be different to a male view.
Well, yeah, it's the same. We are doing the same work as them, and we have the same skills. So it's just okay. If you don't like to discuss football on the Monday morning, that's the only difference, and that's it.
So maybe now we have time for some question in the audience. I don't know if there's any. regarding either being a woman or their
Is that on? Yeah. I actually recruit for visual effects, and I'm actually just interested to get your point of view. So my experience is that actually, and you, quite a few of you mentioned it, one of the biggest obstacles to all sorts of young people actually getting into this industry is their parents. A lot of parents still don't think this is a proper job, and they also don't think it's a career. And I wonder what you think we could be doing as an industry to try and influence parents and to try and get parents of young girls to, you know, encourage them to do these things and not say to them, oh no, that's not a proper job.
So from HR manager to HR manager. I think we also we talked a lot earlier, sorry, but that we did it before. But I think one important thing is that I know from my old high school that they don't know the job. So also their parents don't know the job. Also my friends don't get what I'm doing. So it's just we have to be more present at school. So what I'm actually thinking about is going back to my school and ask them if I could do a presentation about my job. What is visual effects, so that they go home and tell their parents, hey, there was a visual effects producer, and they what? And so they can explain. But if we are not, when they are in school, they got all the jobs. I studied economics, of course, because it's obvious, it's clear, it's what your parents want. But if there would, if I would have known it earlier, what possibilities there are also in Germany or in, actually I don't know what you can do in Switzerland for getting visual effects art. Okay, there's none, I see it. But I think it's just to be more present, to show more what we are doing, and not to be that on the sideline of jobs, actually. That's what I think.
Another question just over there.
Hi, it's okay. I'm from Argentina. I'm like kind of trying to become a VFX producer, but in Argentina it's really hard because you don't have nothing to be a producer in VFX. You have to do like a year of nuke, a 2 years course of Maya and be a technician, and then to prove everyone that you are capable of being a producer. So I'm a producer right now in horror films. I did a sci-fi film that is here when I have like the chance to just manage VFX and practical effects and all joined. And I wanted to ask, what is your advice for not only women, any person that wants to become a producer, from the ones that are producers, or a coordinator, when you don't have like the tools or the career or the school to study that?
Well, hola. I guess there aren't, in Spain, there's really not, well, there is now, sorry. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they started a master in visual effects production. And now suddenly we start having like more qualified personnel to add to the departments. But if not, I'd recommend you just start in a runner position. I mean, that's how it's been in production forever. I mean, we all started as runners, then you become an assistant. But if you've already done a film and you've been managing some visual effects, at least you have the knowledge, and also study everything you can. I mean, I studied everything I could from books, really, while I worked as well. And I was the geek on sets reading about post-production. So and then again, just apply for the job. Just apply.
I have to say, from our experience at RISE, we have We have only had producers that had been former artists, so everybody of us was doing 3D or was doing compositing for quite a short time, of course, and not very well, but we tried, and so we got into the field and got the understanding of visual effects. So for Elena, it's the set experience that you brought with you, and then for us it's like the compositing experience. So because you can only produce something that you understand. And for example, I had an intern. She was 2 years ago, and she wanted to become also a producer, and it was clear that she has to start as a coordinator at first. And we did the internship. She the first month she was totally freaking out because she had to do Nuke and Maya and everything, and she didn't have anything to do with coordination. And she was like, oh my God, what is that helping me? And at the end she was like, it was so good, because it's a language that we speak in visual effects, and you would have not understand a word what we were saying without that month in advance. So
I agree, but I disagree as well, because I mean it's something at least the production team that we had in El Ranchito in Spain, none of us came from operating, and you do learn the language and you do know what it involves and how, because you're with a supervisor every single day, every hour. So I mean you do end up having a technical side about you, even though you don't sit down on a computer and do a shot. I mean, we would learn during the summers when there wasn't so much work. But I mean, it's not. I don't think it is as important. I mean, for me, having a background in film and being able to understand how production works and what they need has been as important as knowing the technical aspects about it. And even though I'm not an operator or a technician, I do have a good understanding of any kind of software and rendering processes, and so I don't think it's as important to come from there. I think both sides are good.
Therefore, I said advice.
Yeah.
It's really we have no other experience with that, but it's there is no one way to become a visual effects producer. Yeah. That's it.
Is there another question? Over there.
Hi. Do you also find that the reason why there are not a lot of women, this is actually quite general, there are not a lot of women in these industries because it's also the recruiters are women? Do you find that they have a perception problem in terms of, what I find is that a lot of the recruiters are women, and they have this problem, perception problem of they only recruit men for this job.
I would say no, but I'm a recruiter, so yeah, I know. So we have to ask Trickster, for example. Actually, it would be nice to have their opinion, because they are all recruiter for big companies. So
yeah. Hi, my name is Yvonne. I'm recruiter for Trickster. So no, that it's never been an issue. And first, you look at the resume and demo reel, and sort of assess it. The name, when you're looking at 100 resumes, actually you don't see the name. You see the software, you see the skills, experience, demo reel, and then you sort of okay, the names come up. Okay, I'll say, oh, is it actually or female, or it's no. The gender that is, so there is completely no influence on decision or actually choice. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything. No.
But since you're 19 years in this industry, do you think that there is a change between being one of the first women in this industry and now that it looks at it's slowly changing, or?
I haven't felt any change. I think you have really women in lots of position responsibilities and on sweeping and leading and stuff. It's just nothing has really changed. I mean, people are getting higher positions and stuff, but we need more women applying in the first place. So recruiters have the real choice and lots of resume.
So there is recruitment booth at the arcade. So go there and please apply for all the jobs. Try it. Maybe one last or pre-last question. Oh, two over there.
When Samuel was promoting the event on Swiss Radio a few weeks ago, he mentioned that some studios requested or even required teams for VFX to be gender balanced. I was wondering if you ever had to answer such a request, and because studios were saying that the result was better when they worked with gender balanced team. And is it just the final result on the screen, or is it also the whole workflow?
I have never had the experience that a studio requested that it has to be gender balanced, but yeah, I don't see a difference between man and woman. At the end, it has to look realistic, photorealistic, and it doesn't matter if it's a female artist or a male artist. And also the workflow, I have not experienced something different, but you are an artist, so maybe it's easier.
I mean, artists are different, but it's not gender related because everyone has different backgrounds, different experience, different different skills as well. So each artist is going to give you a shot, but it's not going. I mean, a man and a woman, it's not the point. I don't think so. It's just a different artist.
But did you face a situation where there was one man and one woman with more or less the same skills, and if taking a woman will bring more diversity, or a second woman in your team, and maybe it will...
I think, yeah, the more balance you get the teams, and the mood is going to be different. Just because, yeah, I mean, we were talking about diversity, and it's exactly this. So I think that's the only difference.
So was another question? Oh, you already have the mic.
Yeah, thank you very much, all of you, for the excellent panel so far. Maybe this is a question for Cécile, as a compositor I've worked with before, actually in London. One thing we haven't talked about so far is work-life balance, and we all know that in feature film, visual effects, or I think many people know that it can get pretty busy. You can work many, many, many long hours into the night and into the morning. So is that a factor in this unbalanced men and women in this industry, or is it more of a broad issue of women in tech, engineering industries? Maybe we just can't slice and dice it so much into visual effects. Maybe it's just more of a general engineering tech thing that we need to actually educate younger people on.
I think the long hours are the same for everyone, men and women. So.
But does it discourage women more than men from getting into the industry? It's quite well known that it's pretty brutal. Exactly.
Well, I don't. Yeah. I mean, even for the choice of career, I guess when you choose this career when you are in your early 20s, it's like the family is not your first. The first thing you think, getting a job, I guess, is more what you think first. But I guess in general, women are always scared about any tech things, but they just need to. It's not only a tech job; it's also artistic. So they just need to try it. What was the second part of the question?
Whether it's really, I'm thinking it's really not visual effects which has the imbalance. It's more of a general tech, engineering,
research and mathematics.
More of the general perception that these are not industries that women go into, which is, I think, totally wrong. But it's just tradition.
Well, yes, but we can change this.
I really like what you said about going into schools and saying, look, this is an industry you can be in.
Exactly. That's what we can do.
That's probably a problem faces in every career, even not technical ones, that if one wants to reach high positions, they will be, society will make them face more their choice between family life and jobs. technical jobs or not, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to say about the family thing, because I think we should also.
Yes, but it's lower
Um,
this one if you prefer to take
As for the family matter, another thing we should be fighting for is having family-friendly companies, but not only for women, I think for men as well, because I think when the guy wants to become a father, he should be involved with his children as well. So real equality is going to happen when both of us, both genders, fight for having a career and a family at the same time, but not just women. And it's not a fight for us, it's something we should all be worried about and more involved, because you deserve to have a job, a career, but you also deserve to have time for your life, whether you have children or not.
My company in London has flexible working, which means you can work 3 out of 5 days, both for men and women. And so I think we're one of the first. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. I mean, fighting for family-friendly companies.
Sam, you had one question?
But what we shouldn't forget, our industry is very young. So we're like now 30 years in Europe that we're working on that. I think in Germany it's like 10 years that we're really working on visual effects. And you already feel a change. Like you said, also men are getting children. So at the office it's now they leave the earliest, they are whoosh, out of the office. So I think we just have to wait a little bit, and then it will, I hope, it will settle a little bit more, but it's a very young industry, so there are, of course, some rocks that we have to move out of the way.
I just wanted to mention 2 things. The first one is that when Victoria Alonso in 2014 said what I've mentioned at the radio station, that she wanted not gender balanced, but at least mixed gender teams on every shot of Marvel productions. I think that one girl or person in that position having to say that is already underlining that something is wrong first. And the second thing I wanted to underline is that, as you said, we have to fight. So as long as we gonna use this kind of vocabulary, it means that there is something wrong. We have to fight for something, it means that we don't have it naturally. And I think it should be only natural. I know the recruiters are not at all in case, but I've just talked with someone that have his insight into high production facilities, and he told me there's no ceiling glass. There is just male people that doesn't want girls to go upper or higher than they are. And when someone that knows a little bit people say that, it just means that there's something wrong in our culture. And as Ian said, we have to change globally, but we still have to fight, and that's important. It's not, it's going to go well in 10 years because now it's moving. I think it's going to go well in 10 years because we will fight until it goes better.
Actually, don't know what time is it now. Almost over. One last question, if there is one. Otherwise, we'll stay on this fight for it, go for it, and good luck. Thank you very much.